broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Ray Donovan fans. Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV's Ray Donovan After Show. We are here breaking down Season 3, Episode 12, the finale, Exsuscito, is how I've been told to pronounce it by the onlines. My name is Isaac Johnson. You can follow me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson, Instagram, the Isaac Johnson. I am joined by the most ridiculously good panel here, good-looking panel here at AFTERBUZZ. Sean Overman, future novelist, and bestseller on iTunes, I think.
Well, perhaps. I would hope so.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. You can follow me at Sean Austin O. That's SeanAustino on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, and your future mayoral candidate, Anna Koppel.
Hey, y'all. You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. And she may or may not be joining us later, but Roxy, you can follow her at Roxy Stryer.
Yeah, she may be in here. Make sure you head over to youtube.com, AFTERBUZZ TV, subscribe to the channel, like the video. We would appreciate it. Also, give us a rating and review on iTunes. We're going to get that out of the way because we got a whole lot to talk about here on the show today with this finale. Heartbreaking or my thoughts. That's like my one-word thought. How did you guys feel?
Oh, man. I really liked last episode, but this one was a good one, too. And I liked how it wrapped a lot of the storylines up. Not in a very neat little bow, but at least somewhat of a messy, frayed, bloodied bow.
Bloodied bow.
Yeah, a little bit.
This is, I feel, one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen. Ever. Not just finales, not just of Ray Donovan. I really feel it was so good. And I watched it a second time today with you gentlemen, and it was a lot of, I know, but I'm just saying I also watched it last night.
You got to see our reactions.
That I got to watch your reactions. It was a lot of fun. And I've learned throughout the season, I'm like, I have to watch this at home first because otherwise I'll cry, my makeup will look bad on panel, and I just can't do that because it's been such an emotional season. It was a lot of fun to watch you guys just like having these explosive reactions all throughout. So it was fun. It was a good time today.
Yeah, it's okay if you cry in front of us, Anna. We'll be here for you.
I feel like I almost cried when Ray was breaking down. I know we're going to talk about that later,
we're going to get into
I felt so emotional during that scene.
Yeah, it was an emotional scene. It was something that we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
For 3 seasons.
Yes.
You found out a lot about his character. This scene that nearly made me. This is the 3rd season. Next season before. This is season 3.
It is.
What's that confused look?
Is it?
Yeah, I said it at the top of the show. Season 3. Episode 12.
All right. I get lost with the seasons.
Some people listening and paying attention.
Some people are.
I feel like we've been watching Ray Donovan for so long. It seems like it's been more seasons.
Well, I was going to say the scene that almost made me cry was with him in the hospital with Terry there. Heavy stuff.
That brotherly love getting you, huh?
Yeah, man. It always does. Guaranteed trigger. So let's go ahead and jump on in here. Mick having himself a nice old party because he's not leaving town. He's living it up in the only way that he seems to know how to do it.
It's with women and coke.
Yeah, with women and coke. Snorting it off her backside, which is the only way to do it, as far as I know. I don't know. I've only learned how to do it from television, so that's the way you're supposed to do it. I think. I'm not sure. There's no evidence of me doing otherwise. What the heck is he doing here with like the partying it up? I mean, he's essentially gotten himself out of having to leave town, and his first activity is to just like get wasted with a bunch of ladies.
I feel like Mick just really doesn't think ahead about anything, and we, this Ray brings this up later on in the episode, but this made him a target because he's supposed to leave town. Ray was not just thinking about, like, hey, leave town, get out of here, Mick, I don't care where you go. He wasn't just thinking about it for the family's sake, protecting him from Mick, but from like a social perspective, but he was really thinking about it, I'm sure, in a physical danger perspective too, and that's exactly what happened in this episode. Thank goodness Bridget wasn't there, like Ray had feared. We had the Minassians, the APS, come in there and shoot up the place, and look what happened. We got people wounded, people killed.
Well, you had to think it was going to come back to bite him, and that's what I mean. Like, why is he just sort of hanging out, like with these shenanigans when he was already a marked man by the Minassians? Like, you would think. I mean, I guess he's not that smart of a guy. Sometimes he's made sort of like wise moves for his own sake, but you would think that you'd at least be on alert or something like that after you've been marked.
I don't think that he imagined that anybody was going to be out of jail that quickly. And I also think that he just wants what he wants when he wants it, and he's very self-centered in that way, and he's very childish in that way, and doesn't one of you just said doesn't think of the big picture. He just doesn't think that far ahead, and so I don't think that really any thought went into it other than like, well, I'm out now, so awesome, party time.
Yeah, exactly. I've got nothing to worry about. But then it ended. Well, we'll get into all of this, but all the heartbreaking stuff. But it gets Terry shot.
Yeah.
Gets Terry shot, which it looks like Terry jumped in the way of a bullet for Mick.
Wow.
Something that maybe he already had Terry in prison to begin the season for getting him in trouble. Now Terry's jumping in front of him, taking a bullet for him. At the very least, I guess he stayed at the hospital for a little bit there before he went back to, make his plan to actually come back and confront the Minassians, which I guess that was good. I liked that.
Yeah.
I liked that he came back there.
That was a little bit of redemption for him because he did not too much.
Not
but I thought it was a little bit. Okay, that's why I said a little bit.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna let you make your points.
Because he did get the gun, he got the burner phone to do whatever he's gonna do, right? And I felt it was so callous at first because he's like, oh, can I get food? I want to get some dessert and get a drink.
No, he was up to something.
But he was up to something, thankfully. And you know what? There is something that he thought about ahead of time. I'm gonna hide my valuables in the ice cream bucket.
That's where you hide them.
Well, I think, though, that this was strictly, again, just a selfish move on his part, because this was after Ray said, let me make something perfectly clear. We are not doing anything. And so I think Mickey interpreted that as, I'm on my own with this. Oh, no. I have to clean. Oh, no. Like, if I don't take care of this, I'm going to die. I don't think he at all thought, like, what if something happens to Connor or Bridget? That this is a mess I have to clean up. I think he was strictly looking out for himself and concerned that, he didn't have Team Ray anymore.
Sure. Well, I think that Ray, though, did kind of like, you're on your own. I think that, or at least that's what I got from that little speech to him, to be like, we're not doing anything. But also, like, you've all of this has happened because of you. Ray's looking directly at him, talking about, like, what was the thing? But something about Abby said to him, where he's basically like, "This isn't your fault. This is only like one person's fault."
Right, and Ray was like, "We both know who that bullet was meant for," and absolutely, there was a clear line drawn in the sand where he was like, "I'm done doing favors for you. I'm done helping you in any way." But I think that Mickey also took that to mean that Ray also was not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, you have the Avi sitting in the car there where they're going to try to take care of everything. And Avi's like, what is this guy doing? He's always in the middle of everything.
No, this fucking guy.
Yeah, right. I'm like, that's us, the audience watching, going like, yeah, he is always in the middle of everything. What's his problem? And then you see him take down the guy, which actually was kind of a nice moment. I'll agree with Sean a little bit of redemption there. Like, he's going to take care of the mess that he's created, and they did shoot his boy.
By creating a new mess, you don't shoot the outside. Everybody knows that you like strangle the outside guard, right? Everybody knows that.
Seriously.
You got to.
It lets them know you're coming if there's a gunshot, obviously.
Right? Yeah.
Silencer. Mickey is not physically fit enough to sneak up on somebody.
That's true.
Except for an old lady and slit her throat.
Well, she was distracted because she was at gunpoint, but that was the most heroic moment, him slitting her throat, if that can be a heroic moment, I guess.
Mickey went in there, sorry to interrupt, but Mickey went in there with a 6-shooter, and he wasted 2 shots on the guy outside already.
He had an extra clip, though.
He had an extra magazine? Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he reloaded the gun when he saw Ray come in, like,
that's right.
Go over there and get them. Like, he's like doing like the army signals or whatever. And like,
but Ray and
stand there and watch it happen.
Ray and Avi went in there with an arsenal. Those guys were armed to the teeth. Ray was strapping guns around his legs.
Yeah. They're not, yeah, they're professionals. You know what I noticed the most about Ray not being prepared in that scene? How wrinkled his shirt was. I was like, I've never seen Ray with such a wrinkled shirt. But I mean, this man is always so prepared for this stuff. So
a few other things on his mind.
Well, oh, totally. But that's my point, you know, is
True.
that like
Yeah. I got you.
he's so on top of this. I'm like, that I had time to notice. I'm like, oh wow, his shirt's a bit wrinkled. Like,
Yeah.
So
well, him and Avi are cooking up the plan there. I'm gonna go in the back. Once you hear me shoot, like just keep coming in, come in the front
they
there.
stake the place out all night.
Yeah.
You know, Mick just walks up, just.
I mean,
Best laid
it's
plan.
brazen, but at the least it's motivated, hopefully, by like how much of a mess he's caused, and he's at least going to do something rather than just skip town, which is what he would have done before.
Again, I'm going to disagree with you guys because at this point he doesn't know that he has the car available to him. I think
No, he doesn't. But
Mick's got money. He's got some money tucked away. He could have bought a junker or got a rental
well, I don't know
car,
about that, but
maybe.
normally he would have left town. Normally he wouldn't have went over there and put himself in direct danger for his boy. So I got to give him a little credit.
So some small redemption again.
I also think that slitting Mrs. Manassian's throat, as badass as it was, is another really traumatic thing to put his son through. To watch somebody's throat get slit like right in front of you is just.
Ray's seen worse. I mean,
Yeah.
he's probably done worse.
Yes. He
You
sure
think?
has.
Yeah, probably.
He's beat people up with bats.
He's seen violence his whole life. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a great thing to do, but one, it also did give us a nice little joke there when he did it. And F you. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed the moment because that woman was so absolutely evil. Child trafficking. Like, I don't want her death to be a quick shot to the head. I want it to be as slow and as painful as possible. Which may say something about me personally. I don't know.
I was a little bit disappointed that Ray, well, I don't know about Avi, but Ray for sure wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest.
Yeah, he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot big time. I would have bought it still if he was wearing the bulletproof vest and then he got shot in the side and was bleeding like he was, which, you know, that could have happened, you know, because it doesn't cover everything. So I thought that was something that he was not prepared for.
Right.
Yeah, well,
right.
but he is kind of running to it pretty quickly there. He thought that Bridget was over at Mick's house, and he's absolutely concerned for her. He busts down the door, does all that stuff. So the fact that his brother was shot and about to die, and he takes him to the hospital, he doesn't know what's going to happen. Them going back in there is him thinking through a lot of it, but not fully thinking through everything because he's got a mission. You almost endangered his daughter, who wasn't there, thank God, and and Terry gets shot there. Like they've had so many wonderful moments this season, and gone through so much. Even the discussion that they have there in the kitchen, like he's very motivated to get in there, and I guess he didn't iron his shirt either. So let's talk about him and Terry finally having a moment where Terry comes clean almost about what's going on in the house, about Bridget, and letting him know about Don Ellen. What do we think about this?
I feel like this is a scene that I've been waiting for this whole season, and just everybody's finally saying what we've been thinking, what we know they've been thinking, and I just loved every second of it. I love that. I love that Ray calls Terry out, like, you got a little crush on my wife, let's not get it twisted. And Terry's like, look, you don't be confused.
Exactly.
You should not be treating her this way. And you're doing exactly what the old man did. And like, ooh, those are fighting words. Like, those are...
Absolutely.
And I mean, I just love that everybody just said exactly what they were thinking. It's great. It's a great moment of brutal honesty.
It's great. It was also cool that, that Ray's picking up on that Terry is speaking in we.
Yes.
Like what? What do you mean we? What inside track do you have here?
Him and his wife, or his sister-in-law, are a team now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I thought it was. I think everybody in the Donovan family should just live under one roof. That way, there's no miscommunication at all about anything.
There would still be dysfunction, John.
Oh, yeah, but...
It's keeping up with the Donovans. That's what it is.
Nice.
We should do that.
So.
That should be a show.
But I do like Terry pointing out to him, like, you're acting just like our father did. You're really not any different from him at this point.
Stepping out on Abby, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Calling him out on all those things with his family, but not telling him that they shared a icky,
kiss,
dirty moment that made me so angry that it happened. I'm still thinking about it, but...
You gonna eat your shoe?
I said that they would not like fully get together. It's
Oh,
not-
now we're qualifying. I see.
Yeah.
I see. You see what he's doing, folks?
I
Yeah,
will-
I'm just saying.
Look, I'll take you out, both out for a beverage of your choice.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't fully hook up, and he stopped it before it went any further. I understood the confusion. We talked about it last episode. But do you think that he will at some point tell Ray that happened? I mean, he said this never happened, that kind of thing.
Maybe next season, if he
It's possible.
Yeah, he did survive, so that's we know that for sure that he's going to be sticking around.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like, I don't know, maybe it could go a whole season and he won't say anything, and maybe season 5 rolls around and then it'll somehow come up.
It's quite possible. We have
You
an
guys, the fact.
intruder in the studio. What's happening here? I thought we kept locks on these doors. What the heck is going on?
Like,
Ladies and gentlemen.
If you guys are confused at home, it's because our awesome co-host Roxy Stryer just walked in.
She decided that she loves us still.
I'm not an intruder.
no.
They won't even put. Oh, there we go. See,
There
I'm not
it
an
is.
intruder. I
can
have my
hear
own
you.
mic and everything.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so excited. I'm sorry that I have to come running in like this. I feel like Ray Donovan. I've come in on something about to like start shooting.
Yeah, well, please don't do that. We would appreciate it if you didn't.
Oh well, okay then I won't.
We're-
I would never. You guys are too wonderful and beautiful.
Wow.
Welcome. You're welcome.
That almost made up for you being late. We're talking about Terry and Ray, and they're coming clean to each other almost. You saw the episode. Thoughts about Ray and Terry.
Yeah. First off, I thought that this was one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen in my entire life.
And that's what honestly.
And, we talked about that last night.
I couldn't wait to talk today. Like, I had to shoot out a text message. I thought it was so beautiful
was
and
wonderful.
horrifying and everything that I think that television should be and should aspire to be. The brother relationship between Terry
Love it.
and Ray in this, you're saying that they swapped stories and they traded truths, but not really.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Yeah, not fully.
But at least he brought out to Ray the, I guess, most immediate danger with Bridget. Since Ray doesn't know, no one's telling him about it.
He told Ray what Ray needed to hear to get the story moving with Dawn Ellen and Bridget, and just to motivate him that much more to get out there. And if he wasn't out there, he wouldn't have gone to Mickey's place. He wouldn't have been there to shoot the Manassians. Pretty much, Ray was the one who saved everybody, if you think about it.
Every
Mickey
time.
would be so dead.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, Terry
no
took the
question.
bullet for him, yeah.
What was Mickey's plan? What was the plan going to the Manassians?
he didn't have one.
None.
Never is
You know
one.
what?
No
No,
plan.
I know what his plan was. He had 6 bullets, or maybe a couple more in his pocket, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to go there to try and at least go down trying. So then some people, like his family rather, would probably think of him as a martyr.
So
in a way.
You think it was sacrificial?
Yeah, it was sacrificial.
You think that Mickey went on a suicide mission? There's just
I
no
have a hard
shot.
time
He
believing
thought
that.
his son was going to die.
No, you guys, he was still on cocaine. he like,
This is very true.
yeah,
I could do
he's not-
anything.
yeah.
That's what he was
Very
thinking.
true.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely think that's what he was thinking. This was not like the first time we've ever seen selfless Mickey. This was Mickey believing that he's something he's not. This is every single
Superhero.
time that he comes in and tries to do something, and Ray has to pick up after him because he can't do anything, right?
Okay, you guys changed my mind now. This scene is reminiscent.
We did it, guys.
This is reminiscent of the scene where Mickey takes the pipes and they go to meet the Manassians in that dirt parking lot. He thought he was a young buck gonna kick some butt, and he ended up not doing it. He got his ass kicked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, back to the point about Terry, I don't think that this is a storyline that's going anywhere. The fact that he comes out of this, illness, being
Coma.
shot,
He lost all
coma
the
of
blood in his
sorts,
body,
yeah. And the first thing that he says is Abby, ugh, and then
Was that the
she's,
first thing he said?
well, after he said to Ray, "Get me a priest." I mean, that was sort of the last thing he said going into surgery, and then the first thing he says coming out of it is Abby, and this is after she's like sitting by his bedside and singing to him, and
I mean, she was there.
she was there.
Yeah.
I know, but the way
kind
he
of the
said
point,
it,
though.
yeah, that's the point exactly. And then like he starts crying, like there's just something that the connection is not appropriate.
They're
And-
there for each other.
Right.
And Ray's not there for him, and Ray's not there for Abby.
right.
Absolutely. He's not, and he's starting to realize all of that. But I think that Abby doesn't have a clear realization of what's going on here. I think she thinks what they're doing, what her and Terry are doing, is totally okay. And that's what is a scary part about this. That the fact that she is by his bedside, that she is the one taking care of him, that she's singing him this song, that she says, I'm glad you stood up to Ray. I'm glad you said those things.
Right.
You shouldn't be glad that he said those things. That's his brother.
Right.
Well, she should be saying those things to him if she wants to communicate that to him. And
Absolutely.
Of course, it is highly inappropriate. You can't have an emotional relationship with someone, or at least in my opinion, with someone like that is not your spouse.
Right. She should either say those things or she should leave.
Right.
Because she always is welcome to leave. If she doesn't love Ray anymore, or she doesn't love the way she's being treated, she can leave.
Absolutely.
And she tried last season. She couldn't do it.
She didn't try. She had an affair.
Yeah. Well, it's not that she couldn't do it. She decided not to do it.
Yeah, she decided not to do it this season either.
Right.
What do you guys think she meant then when she was like, this is like, I got too close to him. This is my fault. He did this for me. I sent him over there, and like she seemed to be like taking ownership. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like a half-ass way to sort of tell on what's happening, but not fully give him all the details there.
But do you think she was actually feeling guilty, or do you think she was, I don't know, like weirdly confessing to Ray? I mean, what do you?
I think she was weirdly confessing, but Ray couldn't pick up on it because he just, as we saw in some of the shots, he had tunnel vision. He just like wasn't thinking about anything else but getting those Manassians.
I think she was feeling guilty, not at all to Ray, but to Terry, that she really had done something bad to Terry, which, yes, she did send him over there. Thank gosh she didn't go with him.
Yeah.
Because then we would have had more blood on our hands. But I don't think she was feeling guilty about what she's done to her husband at all. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
If she did, I think she would have said, we kissed. We kissed.
Yeah.
But she didn't say that, and neither did he. And I honestly don't know if Ray will ever know that they kissed.
Yeah, that's what we were kind of speculating on. But, I mean, I guess in some way he's got enough going on with thinking that Bridget and Donnell are there in the hotel room. Okay, let's talk about that. I
just vomited a little bit.
I hate
astounded.
This guy, I mean, okay. Hated him up until the moment where I guess after they kissed and they're in the hotel room and she's got her shirt off and he finally stops what's happening. He's like all that like, oh, we're already guilty. He's basically being peer pressured by a teenager into drinking and like, well, if they thought we were already hooked up, I guess we might as well. That makes plenty of sense.
Walking a razor's edge the whole time while they were walking along the boardwalk of the Santa Monica Pier. And it was just so ridiculous. I was calling out, really,
Buying
at
her
the
gifts.
screen.
Even the stranger says, oh, true love. And he's like, sure.
Do you guys ever have those scenes you're watching and you're like, I need to fast forward this?
Yeah.
Like, I can't witness this right now.
You want to cover your eyes.
Yeah. It happens a lot when I'm watching the news. Like, that's what I felt like when I was watching this. And I was like, I honestly feel sick to my stomach right now. When she took her own shirt off and he's standing there staring and you're like, this can't possibly be happening. Think about Bridget season 1. Like, how did we get here? I mean, we know how we got here. We talked about how we got here, but it was horrifying to watch. And I'm not sitting here saying kudos to him for stopping this. F that. He pushed this way too far. This isn't like a congratulations, you didn't sleep with a child. This is like a look, you're in a hotel room with a girl with her shirt off, and the reason you stopped it is because you missed your wife?
Well, I don't know. I'm not defending him in any way. I just want to make that clear. Yeah. But like you just said, Roxy, he said the same thing. Like, how did I get here? And I think that like we have to remember he's also on drugs. He also has gone through this. He is in grief, and so I think he also has just gone down his own spiral of just, again, grief and depression and what am I doing with my life, and I hate life, and I'm miserable, and I'm on drugs, and not thinking clearly, and just like one small bad choice after another.
That's how it happens.
So I don't know that like this isn't an isolated incident. I don't know that it is, but but I don't know that he's a monster necessarily, like some other people are really predators.
To me, he's just like a moron. Like I give him like the just slightest break that wife died, horrific, all of these things. You're on drugs. You've let it get to this point. I'm not applauding him. I'm applauding the writers for not taking it there, because I was going to be so upset if they let that happen. Like, that to me would have been the cheapest end for that storyline.
You guys make some really incredible points, and I'm not sitting here calling him a monster.
Yeah, I'm calling him a little bit of a monster.
It's not not that it's not my place to judge, but I do think that this is a plausible storyline. I think that this happens to people where one moment you kind of snap back into it, and you're like, holy crap, this is not who I am. So it wasn't like I was looking at this thinking, this would never happen. That happens all the time. All of a sudden you're in a situation, especially when you've been using drugs, and you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. But I still think if that moment had happened way sooner, I could be sitting here saying, good for him that at least he stepped out of it. He took it too far. He took it too far, and he took it past the point of no return for me. It's not like he can go back to being Bridget's teacher.
No.
How could we let him do that?
Right. Well, he's also like realizing those things himself, which was what made it so cringeworthy for me, that he's like, well, look, I can't be here. I can't buy you, gifts or these kinds of things as they're walking. I'm going to get fired. I'm going to lose my job. I have to register as a sex offender. Yet he's still moving forward with it. He still lets her convince him to get himself into the hotel room. This was all the stuff that I'm like,
still gets her the bracelet.
Dude,
right?
Yeah,
right.
like you know that you're encouraging her. I mean, at the very least, at 17, she doesn't really know what she's doing. I mean, she's like almost fully an adult, but being the adult of record here, you got to stop this and stop letting it get to this point. So that's why when Ray hits him and like, says the thing to him about you like kids, which is something that calls back to Ray's past.
Yep.
Him kind of taking out a little of his aggression there. That's why it felt good to see him get hit, because, dude, you've put yourself in this place.
What was nice about the conversation with Bridget and Donnellen was we felt like, or at least I felt like, when he was talking about those things, like, I didn't have sex with you, but I might as well have, with what everybody's going to think about me. I might as well be guilty. It felt like he was already tried and convicted by a court. Just him saying those things, which was a really interesting feeling. And when Ray came in and when he beat the hell out of him, said, I'm going to cut off your hands next time I see you near my daughter, I feel like now we're going to have, even though that storyline is probably going to be closed off almost entirely, I like that there's now an evolution between the relationship that Ray and his daughter Bridget have. That now she's going to have so much antagonism towards him in the following seasons, and we got to see that she's probably going to run away from home now.
Yeah,
with her guitar though, so she's cool. She's chilling.
She totally Hannah Montana.
She can make money on the side.
Honestly, I think that she has some valid points when she's talking to Ray.
Absolutely.
And she says, you're smothering me and I can't live like this. She says, you don't love me, you control me. But that is a very 17-year-old mindset for her to not see that he loves her. I think he really does love her. I know that he loves her.
He loves in the only way he knows how to.
Right. It's just people have different versions of loving, and they have different things that they're capable of. And in order for their relationship to work, he thinks she needs to change, but unfortunately he doesn't realize that he needs to change as well. Because he's got so many years on her. A lot of times that's what happens when you're the dad. You think that the kid has the problem, but really they both have a problem right now.
Yeah, they do. Well, and that was a little more sort of voice of the audience thing. Like, you don't feel anything. You control me. You're not alive inside. Like, this is kind of Ray. Like, he's numb to most things, and I like her calling him out on that.
Yeah, that was all really sad and powerful. But I think if I'm clear on on his love for anybody, it's on his love for Bridget.
Yes, absolutely. Which is what makes it tragic for us to watch, because we know that he cares about her.
Right.
Absolutely, and that's a great point too. Of any person on this show, Connor, Abby, his brothers, whatever it is, I feel like his love for Bridget is unwavering.
Yeah, there was that moment last season where he says that she reminds him of his sister, and he really cared for his sister and wasn't able to save her.
Right. It's sad because they forgot that she watched her boyfriend die.
Yeah, and no
she
one
watched
paid
him
any
get
attention to her.
brutally murdered. She wasn't allowed to tell anybody what happened.
Right.
Her mom even noticed that she was taking drugs. She caught her drinking with alcohol in her room.
Yeah.
Like, all of these things were happening that were signs, but none of them were like, what was she supposed to do? Hold up a sign like, I'm effed up, help me?
Yeah, well, she
Pick
pretty
me,
much
choose me,
is.
love me?
She pretty much is,
Right.
and people are still ignoring it until she's in a room with an older man.
Right.
From her perspective, Ray has taken away 2 of her boyfriends because at the end of season 1, from the end of season 1, we had him drive away with Marvin Gaye Washington and dump him at his old place.
Yeah.
And then here again in season 3, we have her being whisked away from her would-be boyfriend, Don Ellen.
Yeah, but I felt like Ray was in the right at that point for taking him away. I mean, he walked in the room, and he was fair to assume that they had just slept together.
Yeah.
She didn't have her shirt on. Yeah. He was sitting with her. Like, the whole thing, I think Ray could have done worse.
They didn't belong in a motel room.
Right.
Whether or not she had her shirt on, there was no.
I mean,
reason
it only looks worse with her shirt off, but
right.
Yeah.
It's just that is the most mortifying thing. The fact that she is kicked out of the motel room with her shirt off. She doesn't even have her shirt on by the time she walks out, and her uncle and her grandfather are there.
Yeah.
She's not wearing her clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Mickey had a look on his face. It was just like, oh, God.
Yeah, this is bad. Let's move on to something even more mortifying, seeing that Michelle got shot, got caught in the crosshairs. I'm really sad, man. I really liked that they were building like some sort of like love interest for Daryl. I thought this was all cool. I kind of liked the relationship. I liked that she came back to him with the car and talks about her past. We get to find out more about that. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be really cool for season 2 and Daryl, and then she gets shot and you have to watch him cradle her there on the ground. I mean, Daryl is nothing, man. They continue to take things away from this guy. Like, guy can't catch a break.
It's true, but for his storyline, we really needed this to happen.
Yeah.
We really did.
How
Yeah.
so?
Because we need him. We need him to break away from Mickey.
Okay,
And he wasn't going to without this.
That's true.
He just keeps going back to him. And as much as I loved her character and I loved watching this, it has to be the reason that he gets out of the nest. Which
true.
we finally hear from him, which I was proud of him. Like, this is toxic. You are in a toxic relationship with your father right now.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Pooch Hall killed it tonight.
It was so good.
It was so good. And every scene he was in, brought me to tears. Including his it was like he was waiting for Michelle to come back and just had already forgiven her.
Yep.
It's like he already understood.
Didn't even say anything to
right.
her, yeah.
He just already
Just
understood.
grabbed her.
She
It was
was explaining and it made so much more sense to me. Her levels of just dysfunction.
She talked about her father.
I feel like you're going to cry right now.
I know. I feel like I'm going to too. No, she's
okay,
like, my
it's a
own
safe
mother
place,
hates
everyone.
me.
Very safe place.
And I'm not worth it, and but he accepted her and loved her, and so that was ripped away from him, and when he was saying to Mickey, I wanted to be a Donovan. I wanted you to be my father. I hated my mother for not letting that happen, and just leave. And the only reason Michelle came back was to give you a chance to get out.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So the hatred he must have for him at this moment it's heartbreaking.
What really stood out to me was after she got killed, he was rocking back and forth with her in his arms on the kitchen floor.
Heartbreaking.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Heartbreaking.
I know, and it's just so heartbreaking because she's already gone, and and then even later on, fast forward to a couple scenes later, when he's standing on the balcony outside the apartment, he is still rocking back and forth, and it's just it's his coping mechanism, and us as humans, we do that a lot. Animals do it when they feel lost,
Right.
So him just doing that, you can really tell, like, that's such a great
great choice
acting
by the actor.
Yeah, great choice by Pooch Hall to do that, because just that rocking back and forth, I really felt something for his loss. And we had to isolate Mickey this episode. We had to bring Daryl and him to that closing point where he just says, you know what, my license says, it doesn't say Donovan.
Yeah.
I always wanted it to, but now I hate that last name, Donovan, and I don't want to be a part of your family anymore. I don't want to be your son. I don't want you to be my father.
Very strong moment. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I hated that they took her away from him because I don't know. I really like the relationship. Let's move on to Bunch and Teresa. They have the S&M part of their relationship is alive and well.
You guys, I do not trust her.
Oh, you still don't?
I
don't trust her?
I don't trust her now more than ever.
I was wondering where she was taking him, like, and all this stuff. I'm like, what's going on here?
She was taking him to Runyon Canyon. at night.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Time
So
to do
funny
it.
that you said that, because when he was like, I didn't know Mexicans hiked, I was like, that's really racist. But then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, whenever people talk about hiking, I just think about like those white cliches, like let's do Runyon. Like, so it was funny. Yeah.
Yeah. She pleasured him for about 20 seconds there in the morning.
That's all I needed.
And I guess.
I was thinking like he's 10-second Tom.
Yeah.
He's just gone in 10
I'm
seconds.
giving him credit for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I love her.
I don't mistrust her. I was wondering where she was taking him.
I think this is exactly what he needed in his life. I think
Strong
she's
woman.
freaking fabulous.
Yeah.
I think that she is understanding in the right ways, but not like, oh, poor you, poor pathetic you. Like, all right, your past is your past kind of thing. She goes in, she puts on her mask. It was kind of weird and quirky, and
It's got to be a regular thing.
it's like kind of sexy. I don't know if you're into that. And and then
That I felt like she was sexy in that scene.
Yeah.
Especially when she first came in, she had her like target eyes
she's
right
like, I
on
want
him.
to play. Yeah, I thought she was awesome. She knew what she wanted. She came in, and then she takes him somewhere. She tells him she's pregnant. He obviously doesn't react the way that she wants him to. She gets a little pissed. Then he explains himself, and she's like, she kind of goofs off with him. I think she's awesome and great for him, and I might be totally screwed because I do trust her, and I gotta say Anna's been right on 99% of her predictions on this show so far. So
that's a high percentage. I don't know.
all right, what did she say about the relationship with the teacher? What did she say about Terry hooking up with Abby? Like,
Sorry, I need to take a drink of water.
and she predicts it so early. So like,
Thank you, Roxy.
All right,
Thank
on a
you.
99.
she says it. I'm kind of
I was gonna say 99.9%. Roxy, how dare you think that I was selling her short? Okay.
Yeah,
We got it.
0.9999. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys.
Nearly perfect in every way.
Here's what's uncomfortable for me is I feel like she's manipulating him through the sex. I mean, listen, like she's not the first woman to do this. Like, but
I'm gonna take notes now.
And she, the fact that she says to her husband, who she loves, we assume, you put a baby inside me. Just like the way
There was
it
nothing romantic about it, but
But she did take him to this like seemingly romantic spot,
Yeah.
but also says, this is where I lost my virginity.
Ugh.
It's not a good setup for we're going to have a child together. I don't know. There's just something off about it. And then sort of says like, you want to leave me, fine, leave, file papers. I don't know. I think, and he's right. Like, well, how did you get pregnant so soon? Like, I don't know how long of
Okay.
So I don't
There's
know.
suspicion there,
There's room for concern.
right. What I just like was, I mean, yeah, it wasn't romantic. She given him all the mixed things, but like I don't know, like a lot of what she was saying kind of speaks to like whatever her past is, which we don't know enough about. But I just didn't like that she wasn't like patient with him a little bit. That he has a past of molestation. He has no good examples of fatherhood. Can he have a moment to react to this baby news when you've been married for weeks at this point?
All right, totally. But in all fairness to her, she's pregnant and she's probably scared. And I think a lot of this is a defense mechanism. Like, if you want to leave me, fine, leave me. I've never dated anybody. She's convincing herself. The last thing you want when you tell somebody you're pregnant, I would have to assume, is for them to say nothing. For them to say, what? Really? How soon? Like, so she looked at him. She did give him an option. She said, say anything. Say something good. Like, come on. All he had to be was like, that's amazing or something. But he didn't. So I felt like she wasn't that harsh with him. And then once he did explain himself, she didn't stay mad for too long. I got that.
True.
See, that was nice that she bounced back like that during their conversation at the end.
Well, she didn't leave, so ultimately she does want to, finish the conversation. But I don't know. She gave me like 10 seconds to respond. I'm like, allow for some silence. Communication 101. It's not a bad thing.
I don't know. Like right now, for 10 seconds, I look at you guys and I'm like, I'm pregnant.
Is it one of us?
10 seconds?
That's a long time.
10 seconds is a long time.
Which one of us is it?
It's Anna.
Okay.
Good work. You put a baby in me.
It's a miracle. Okay.
It's not really. We've been going to the clinic.
So did they just?
Still a miracle.
So did Bunch and Teresa just get pregnant that night? She already knows.
Well, okay.
She's
So
ovulating.
I'm on
anything?
No,
Look, there are a certain amount of days.
She didn't get
per
pregnant
month
that night. But it did seem like when he said, "How did it happen so quickly?" It did feel like that was the first time they slept together, and he was confused. But no.
Yeah, I don't know that it's ultimately suspicious, but it does seem like, well, it did happen pretty quick. But I have friends myself that got pregnant on their honeymoon week 1. Those poor unfortunate souls.
Yeah, but they didn't know like 20 minutes later. Like, ooh, by the way, I felt
later.
those swimmers. They were strong.
A couple weeks later, they did. It's possible. We're almost out of time, so let's talk about Ray and his confession, his awakening, if you will, his exsuscito. Is what that word means.
It's Latin.
It is Latin. This is the moment. Okay, if he cannot win an Emmy this year because he was up against John Hamm, tough break there.
Although I still think he should have won.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Both really strong performances. I can't knock either one.
That's
of them.
true.
But this to me is a moment that can be submitted because this stuff in the confessional, him coming clean about his feelings, about Father O'Connor, about how he cared about him, how he told him he was special, he was smart,
Took
how
him
that
places,
was.
he bought him things.
Took him places, and no one was there to do that. Basically, Mickey was not there to do that.
Total grooming
This
behavior.
was one just fantastic writing, and he knocked it out of the park in this scene. It was so good.
We got to learn so much about Ray just in these couple minutes that he was in the confessional booth, because we thought the whole time that he was just straight up taken advantage of, no questions asked. Like, he didn't show any kind of reciprocation towards Father Danny, but he did. He admitted that he was
says,
like,
I stopped fighting him off after a while. That's why those are the moments that infuriate him the most, when they're like, I know you loved him, Ray, because he did love him.
Because I cared for him. I did it because I cared for him. And this is something that we've talked about a lot on this panel, about his sort of like violent sexual behavior towards women, and his just needing to have a lot of sexual partners and taking back control. It's something that like we've speculated about quite a bit, but to hear him say it, it's just like gut-wrenching. And
talking about how he can see the pictures,
he
looks at his children.
Right. He said, I see these fucking pictures in my head every day, every night when I hug my kids. I see these fucking pictures. And
he's a tortured soul.
Brutal.
These are things he's never told anyone before.
Right. And earlier when Bridget had said it's like you're not even alive inside, and the priest then asks, can you find the kingdom of God in your heart? And he said, I can't find anything inside.
You know, that's
like it was
the most honest his characters has been. This is the most we've had into who he really is as a person.
It's a real parallel, actually, between Bunch and Ray, because Bunchy doesn't know what to say. He says, "Oh, I'm weird. I'm effed up. I don't know what to say if we have kids." That's Ray. It's just that Ray holds everything in, and he really tries to do things for his family. He tries to help them in so many different ways, but he doesn't sit there and talk about his feelings and his emotions, and therefore we get Bridget thinking he's dead inside. We get Abby thinking like, oh, why are you just going off and effing everything that moves? Right?
I felt like we waited 3 years for this moment. I felt like we've been waiting for 3 seasons.
So good.
And I felt like if it came sooner, it would have come too soon. And if it came later, then I would have been like, it came at the perfect time. I needed to hear him say it. And I think that this was probably the best performance I've ever seen on screen. I think in a movie, in television, whatever it was.
Wonderful.
I think that it was flawless. I thought it was flawless. Yeah. Yes, the writing, the way they shot it, everything about it, but he blew me away because I didn't know he had this in him. Because
I didn't either, yeah.
Because how would we have known? He's never done this before. He was incredible.
It was so honest, and especially the way he was so broken down. And when, I'm sorry, what is the priest's name?
Father Romero.
Thank you, Romero.
He kept pushing him on it.
Well, but he starts to have compassion, and Ray Donovan in real life would so be like, I don't need your fucking sympathy, you know, like the fact that he goes right back to like shutting down, and I just felt like that was so on it. The writing was just impeccable in that sense. And Sean, to your point, that's such a good point about him being like Bunchy, because one of the things I noticed was that Ray, it was like he reverted to being a child when he was talking about all of this, and something that we always say about Bunchy, he's very childlike, and so what a great parallel that was. Good point.
Yeah, then it is a great point. It's interesting to look at all of the brothers and how they've dealt with something they all went through. They were all either somebody tried to molest them or they were molested. They lied about it. They told the truth. So they've all been through this and they've handled it all three completely differently from one another.
It's so funny because we see Ray go to Father Romero. Everybody in his family, they hate him almost as much as they hate Mick right now. He drove, who knows, probably 100 miles to Santa Barbara County, it looks like, to see Father Romero. For his brother. And he tells nobody about it. And that is why everybody in his family is like, you think that we're all small children and you have to take care of us, right? He's doing the exact thing that everybody says he does. He's driving away, taking care of something because he wants to help them, but he doesn't tell them.
But he's also, this is what made the scene so much more elevated than he's been shot.
Yeah.
He's bleeding. Literally we see him get shot and you almost forget that he was shot because like you see him move back and it's like how could he be driving around all of this stuff? He's out of time and he knows it and he has to get this for his brother. So he's sitting there. Otherwise, if he hadn't been shot, I don't think he would have said anything. But he was like, I have to get out of here, and I need him to do what I need him to do, and the only way I can do that is by opening up. His hands were tied because he was bleeding out.
Maybe this was Ray's Mickey moment this episode because Mickey perhaps went in there thinking that he was going to die too with the Manassians. We have Ray driving over there to the church thinking like, you know what, I'm bleeding, I can't stop it. I'm probably going to die right now, so I might as well do something to save Terry, my brother who I love.
Yeah. Well, it also, that scene to me too with Father Romero really pushing really hard to get him to say what he needed to say. I got a good feeling that Ray has wanted to say these things for a long time, but he just hasn't been able to, so someone really had to push him into that position. But it also really kind of finally dovetails Father Romero's storyline that he really actually did care about him. He wasn't up to anything malicious. He really wanted to, you know, he's like, can you save Terry? Like, I can't do that, but you can, I absolve you, which, you know, is I don't know, to me, for the character, just, it's what he needed, and then he collapses right after that, which is probably a physical representation of how he actually feels.
He had nothing left.
Yeah. He got it all out. And what was actually cool, too, is that we see Romero and Ray driving back, and Romero's driving him. That shows a lot about Romero's character as well, and that Ray is a strong MFer. That guy, he takes a bullet, probably bled out a quarter of his blood, and he's still going. He's still up. He wasn't passed out in the car. He was looking out the window like a child, actually, being driven by a priest.
Because he has no choice. What's he gonna do? He's gonna bleed out and die, or he's gonna sit in the car.
Yeah. Well, do you have something?
No.
Okay.
Well, I have predictions, but...
Yeah, well, I was going to say we should head over to that because we're, like, far past time here. So let's head into predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
All right, Anna Koppel, what are you thinking?
All right, well, I felt like this finale was so poignant in that, you know, we did end on Ray's face, which is something we tend to do in finales. Roxy, like you said, this is something we've been waiting to hear from Ray for 3 seasons. And I feel like maybe going into the 4th season, we might have this sort of like spiritual awakening from him and like this, he's, you know, his literal like come to Jesus moment where he might have some change, but it's going to be maybe too late because there's also all of this connection between Terry and Abby. So like, is he going to lose his family in the mix when he's finally ready to like, you know, become a complete person and like really, Bridget's leaving and that would be just really tragic. I do not think that it's over with the Manassians. I think that the Armenians rolled deep. I
believed her.
Yeah, I believed her too. Yeah. Hardcore. I think that Abby's going to like continue to triangle Ray and Terry and just sort of like play them against each other because it's just too much fun for her and she's just too bored of a housewife. And I do not think that it's Bunchy's baby. I'm just going to throw it out there. And,
so hard on Abby.
And
she's just like a housewife. You're so hard on her.
What does she do? She goes to yoga.
Her husband has cheated on her so many times. Anyway,
these are just my predictions.
Okay,
so,
I'm just saying.
I'm saying that
You have had all night to write these, haven't you?
I have it's that Teresa's looking for like some sort of trust fund or something for a baby that does not belong to Bungie.
You took my prediction.
Okay, Sean.
I
Well,
was
why
gonna
don't you
do
tell us
that.
your prediction?
My prediction was Teresa, and this is the only one I have. I was just so engrossed in the episode, I couldn't write it down anymore. But I feel like Teresa is going to get pregnant. She's going to have tons of children.
She is pregnant.
She wants to have a lot of children. She wants to fill up that truck. And eventually, maybe not next season, maybe further down the line, I feel like she's going to divorce Bunch. She'll find some reason, because he's so messed up, right? And she'll get child support from him. She'll be set.
Yeah.
I could see that, but I'm still rooting for her. My biggest thing is that the point that the Manassians made was that they're coming after the kids.
Yeah.
And so that means to me we have to watch out for Bridget and we have to watch out for Connor. Now, what is going to be the way we get Bridget back into town? Connor, who already hasn't been in most of the season, is going to die. Or we go the other way, where Bridget, who's now gone, Ray is going to assume that the Manassians have her. Really, she's run away. That kind of situation. But I definitely think that with these two siblings, so one of them is either going to end up dead or kidnapped or tortured by the Manassians. I don't think this is just a find and shoot really quick kind of thing.
Yikes.
Yeah, I think we have a very scary season 4 coming up.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think it's a great setup for the Manassians or I guess the APS or whatever you want to call it, like to be the main antagonist for next season.
Armenian Power Syndicate.
Armenian Power Syndicate. I am turning colors to Terry and Abby, I think. I don't like what I'm seeing there, but
You think they might kiss? Oh, wait. They did. Did you eat your shoe?
I didn't eat my shoe, but I said I would take anyone out for a beverage of their choice.
Yeah, I missed the last. I wanted to see a shoe.
I said they wouldn't fully hook up, and they didn't.
Yeah.
There was a kiss.
You should drink a beer out of your shoe.
Okay, sorry.
That would feel better.
Okay, I set the terms of this bet, okay?
Season 4, Episode 1,
Beer,
AfterBuzz
shoe
TV. Beer in the shoe.
I don't think we can drink on camera. I don't think that's the thing. Otherwise, I'm doing it all the time.
Even if it's water out of your shoe, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make some predictions here, folks, if you don't mind. I think it is not too late for Ray and Bridget. I think that there's still a way to salvage that relationship, and I see him going after her hard, but I do see her being probably a main target since she's out there. I hope we'll see Connor next season more, because it was kind of like, oh, he wasn't even in the finale. That was kind of a bummer.
He was at the rap party, so they for sure haven't kicked him out of the cast. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they haven't kicked him out of the cast. It was just kind of like, oh, everybody had a moment here at the end of the season, except for Connor, just not there. Maybe he was doing homework or something. I don't know.
But we set it up for him to have one with the prostitute that he's in love with, or the call girl. Something they're planning for something.
Yeah. Anybody have a prediction? Paige and Finney, are we done with them? Are we going to see them again?
I don't
Seems
know.
like Ray's just kind of like left them to be like, you know what, I'm done with your family.
Yeah, she gets her braces off, and it's a whole new world.
Well, I don't think that they're completely out of the picture, or Paige would have been tied up too. But she's at his apartment.
That's true.
Was
Yeah,
that
she is at
his-
his apartment.
That was at his apartment,
That's
like
his
the
place. He
main
lives with
one.
the key to. It just seemed like he was kind of like, you know, you guys' problems, your problems. I got enough of my own, but it doesn't necessarily dovetail it. So, all right. Well, what a great season, everybody. This has been a lot of fun talking about the Ray Donovan. Such an amazing show.
Thanks for
So
letting
much
me
fun.
join.
Of course, Roxy. Maybe you'll
love
join
having
us
you.
all next season. Maybe that'll happen.
hope
That's my
so.
prediction. You can't stay away.
Good prediction.
Yeah, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me everywhere at Roxy Stryer.
On a Koppel.
You can follow me at Koppel from Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYR.
Sean Overman.
And you guys can follow me at Sean Austin O on Twitter and Instagram, and be sure to look out for my book, Sea of Angels and Discontent. That's going to be coming out pretty soon.
Very soon.
Yep, on the iBookstore. Look out for it.
I want a signed copy.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Does it have to be digitally signed, maybe? Is that a thing that can happen? I don't know.
Perhaps.
Okay. Well, you can follow me on Instagram, The Isaac Johnson, and you can also see me coming up on a television program a national television program that I just filmed and booked. I can't say what it is yet, but you can follow me on Twitter to find out when I can drop that news. But it's really exciting time.
It's Ray Donovan, isn't it?
It is not Ray Donovan. But it is a very popular TV show, and I'm really happy to have been included in it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Yay!
And that'll do it for us, folks. Thanks so much for joining us all season, and we will see you next year.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.